What's up, y'all? This is the State of Progression podcast where we will bring you nothing but great energy, pure authenticity, and progression in all aspects of life. I'm Jared Emanuel, and this is my boy Dylan Miller, and we're here. What's up, bro?
What's going on, man? What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. So, we have a very special guest for you guys today. This guest lost a total of 7 pounds in 30 days, just eating Big Macs. Yes, you heard that correct. Just eating Big Macs. He's an Instagram sensation, and he was Gary V's personal trainer for 3 years. He helps people transform their bodies, and we brought him on today to help you progress in your lifestyle as well. So please welcome the caloric deficit king, Jordan Syatt.
Welcome.
Welcome, you guys. I appreciate it. Well, it's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So let's just get straight into it. So Jordan, I've always been curious about your fitness journey, and if you knew this would be such a huge success in your life.
So I got involved in fitness when I was a young kid. So I started wrestling when I was 8 years old, and then wrestling was basically my entire life. So then when I got to high school, I made varsity as a freshman. I beat a junior out for the varsity spot, and I had to cut a lot of weight. So I was cutting from 112 pounds to 103 pounds every week for competition. And as a freshman, 13-year-old kid, 14-year-old kid, I was a good wrestler technically and endurance-wise, but strength-wise, going up against 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, I didn't have it. So I was like, I knew I had to get stronger, but I also had to lose weight to make weight for competition. So I applied to a gym nearby, in a town nearby, just like to see if I could intern with them. Fortunately, not only did they take me under their wing, but they were also very science-based. They were a very science-based gym, and I got inundated to very high-level science-based strength and conditioning and nutrition at a very young age. So that's how I got into it, and I knew I wanted to be a coach from a very young age, but I had no idea. Instagram didn't exist at that time. Facebook Facebook came out after I started coaching. Online coaching wasn't even a thing when I first got into all of this. So I had no idea. I just wanted to coach people. And then as I got better as a coach and as time went on, these social media platforms came out, and I was just posting content and basically just trying to help people. And then through that, more and more people started to follow me.
Awesome. So you said that the gym, they're more science based. What did you look into after you found out it was science based? How did you learn everything that you know today? Is basically what I'm trying to get at.
So I did a bunch of different internships, but I got set up with that gym when I was 14, and I was super fortunate because you can go to any gym in the world, but the reality and unfortunate reality is that most gyms, anybody can be a coach there. And you could argue, oh, well, you need a certification. It's you could go online right now and buy a certification for $99. It's not hard to become a quote unquote certified trainer.
Yeah.
And, the reality is most gyms don't care about who's coaching you as much as how many clients are getting through the door and how much money they're bringing in. So this gym, I was very fortunate to find in that it wasn't like that at all. It was a privately owned facility. It wasn't like a chain, which it makes it a little bit more focused on results and science-based so that you can get more referrals and people coming in. And the coaches in there, they set me up with not only great resources to read, but they were mentoring me underneath them. So I was learning from them, and they were very big on the science. And so then from there, I ended up getting more and more internships and competed as a high-level competitive powerlifter. And I went to college for all of this, but the reality is I learned more from various 3-month internships at high-level facilities than I did in 4 years of college.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I personally learned too. I played football, and I went to this training facility. It was called Winter Circle Athletics, and the trainers there, they were insanely good, and they knew a lot of knowledge. Like they knew a lot, and I feel like hands-on learning is the best way to learn. And I hate when I honestly hate when people like are looking for a trainer and they look for certifications. Like, to me, I feel like it's BS. Like, oh, they have to have this certification, they have to have that certification. When in reality, I can know way more than somebody that has all the certifications in the world, just from like hands-on experience and like experiencing it myself.
Yeah, 100%.
So that kind of makes me want to expand into why we really brought you on in your Big Mac challenge. So, do you think you could let the people know why you did the Big Mac challenge and what it did for you?
Yeah, I mean, so basically, um, there's a lot of food fear and food anxiety right now. A lot of people think there are good foods and bad foods, and there are foods that are inherently going to make you fat, foods that are inherently going to make you sick. And for me, obviously, there are some foods that you want to base the majority of your diet off of, more whole and minimally processed foods, nutrient dense foods. But the fact that a lot of people get nervous or food anxiety if they have a slice of pizza at their daughter's birthday party, or if they like fear like having a slice of cake at their nephew's graduation ceremony, it causes way more harm than good, because usually what will happen is if they feel like they're screwing up, if they feel like they're doing something bad, that is what leads to a binge pattern, where like once they have a bad food or messed up, then they're like, screw it, and they go away for the whole weekend. They completely just binge the whole weekend. They say they'll get back on track on Monday, and that's the whole yo-yo dieting cycle. So I wanted to show people that you can include some of your favorite quote unquote unhealthy foods and not only not ruin your progress, but actually continue to make progress. And I think probably the most important point to really hammer home here is that I'm not saying people need to eat Big Macs, and I'm not saying Big Macs are a wholly nutritious food option. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if you end up having a Big Mac or having a slice of pizza or having a slice of cake or God forbid a fucking ice cream cone,
Yeah.
that still make progress as long as you just get back on track and don't use that as a justification to quit and binge after that.
Yeah, I completely agree with this because I personally I love food and I love my sweets. I love my food for sure. And when, like, for example, say I'll post something on my story, they're like, how can you eat that kind of thing? How can you eat that stuff and still like be fit? And I just tell them, like, if you can control it, if you don't eat the whole bag of chips, like you can sustain your body and still enjoy and eat the food you want to eat. And people are just like, what the fuck? And and they're just basically they'll go in like you just said, like they'll try to eat the foods they want and they'll binge, and then they'll gain that weight. They'll gain like a pound. They think they just gained like a pound of fat within that 30 minutes. They'll step on the scale and be like, what the fuck? I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm going to go crazy, stuff like that. And I really believe it not only affects their body, but it mainly fucks with their mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of we talk about how like we talk about physiological health and we talk about how mental health is so important and it's becoming a bigger and bigger thing that we hear about in society and culture. But most people massively underestimate the importance of mental health in regard to your physical health, in regard to nutrition and strength training. It's one thing where like one of my favorite sayings is for one person saying no to the pizza could be making progress because they need to start paying more attention to their food. They need to pay more attention to their food quality, how many calories they're eating. But for someone else, saying yes to the pizza without feeling guilty and getting anxiety might be progress, right?
Yeah.
Because mental progress matters too. And if you're the kind of person that literally will never, ever, ever, ever have a slice of pizza because you're going to get anxious about it and have anxiety about it, and you're going to think you screwed up your entire diet, and you're going to have to do 5 hours of cardio afterwards to quote unquote make up for it,
Yeah.
that's not a healthy relationship with food. So the same exact piece of food, two different reactions to it and responses to it could be equal progress for two different people. And we have to understand that when I say there's no such thing as a good or a bad food, people are always like, well, of course there's a bad food. And for whatever reason, the first one people go to is Twinkies. They're like, well, Twinkies are bad for you. And I'm like, I use that same example. I'm like, okay, so if someone did have a Twinkie and they have an anxiety attack because of it, is that healthy? And I was like, well, of course not. I'm like, okay. So, and I'm like, has anyone ever eaten a Twinkie? And like, there's like, if you have one Twinkie in your diet over a week, is that one Twinkie going to ruin your diet? Is that one Twinkie ruining your cholesterol? Is that one Twinkie ruining your blood panels? And so I was like, well, no, of course not. It's like healthy or unhealthy is it's to be reductionist enough in your thinking to think that one thing in isolation is the sum and substance of health is massively disingenuous. You have to think about your diet overall, your sleep overall, your exercise overall, your interpersonal relationships overall, like your entire life. And the reality is, you can't just say one food is inherently good or bad because there are so many ways to interpret how that food's going to impact your life. I would argue that saying no to a Twinkie at a party that's mainly for Twinkies when you're with your friends and family and just saying, no, there's no way I'm going to have that Twinkie, that's probably a less healthy relationship with food than someone who can have that one Twinkie and then get back on track when they're done.
Yeah, definitely. And especially going back to the whole cardio thing, I feel like a lot of people are guilty of this. Like they'll eat that Twinkie and then, like you said, 5 hours on the cardio machine.
But that's not even like a sustainable, thing to continue doing every time you were to
exactly.
eat. Every time you were to eat something that might not be quote unquote healthy, it just puts you in such, like you said, like a mental health state where like every time you eat something that's not the quote unquote healthy, then you have to do this redundant cycle of trying to play catch up. And like and instead of like his whole concept of, the calorie deficit, like if you were to say if you're going to that party, later on the evening and adjust your diet to, have a higher intake for that evening, then you won't have to be so set on doing a 5-mile run, previous the next day.
Yeah. So, Jordan, so basically you're just trying to let the people know that you could eat the foods you want to eat without stressing, without having an anxiety attack, and it'll be okay. You can get right back on track. I think you have this saying, like the next thing you eat, that's how fast you can get back on track.
Yeah, it's basically you're never more than one bite away from.
Yeah, there you go. That's exactly what I was looking for.
What did you say?
You're never more than one bite away than getting back on track, and that's like you need to quote that, put it on a shirt, sell those shirts, and that's what everybody should get from this podcast. That's like the main thing that people should bring into their lifestyle, that you're never one bite away, and it's okay to have those foods that you love, and it's not going to hold you back. If anything, it'll progress you forward because you're not having that anxiety, you're not thinking negatively, and your mindset's just going to grow and grow. So Jordan, do you have any other challenges that you want to do such as this?
Yeah, I have a lot of challenges in the pipeline. One thing that I'm going to be doing, and basically one of the overall response to the Big Mac challenge was tremendous. It was amazing. I think one of the most common things that anyone who was like, oh, I wish you did this, I wish you did that, was they wanted more like doctor intervention, more intervention from someone who is like has a medical degree. And like I was obviously that would be great. It's a little bit difficult to have that on hand for every single challenge that I want to do. But I do have a colleague who is a doctor who lives out in San Diego, and I'm in New York. So for the next challenge, what we're actually going to do is one of the more common myths is that coffee dehydrates you. Is that drinking coffee dehydrates you, which is outrageously outdated and wrong. But what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to go stay with my buddy who's a doctor in San Diego for the better part of a week. And for either 24 or 48 hours, we haven't decided which one yet, I'm literally only going to drink coffee for the entire 24-hour period or 48-hour period. And we're going to measure my hydration levels throughout that entire time. And then we're going to take the end result from the beginning all the way to the end and see what happens to my hydration.
Well, I mean, don't you think it would have some sort of drop just by strictly drinking the coffee and not having any sort of water intake?
Well, what is coffee made up of?
Water, you're right. Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna sit back down. No, that's true.
It's one of the more common things. It's like, so people are they hear this over and over and over and over again, and they think it's a diuretic, it's a diuretic, it's a diuretic. It's like, what is the definition of a diuretic? So it makes you pee, right? It forces you to pee from drinking it. It's like water is essentially a diuretic. When you drink water, you have to pee.
Yeah, so you're gonna pee it out essentially anyways.
Now, what people say is caffeine is a diuretic, and that's correct. But the reality is the reason that coffee is net hydrating is because it's made up of almost all water. But if you were just to take caffeine pills with minimal water, then yes, it would probably over time have a net dehydrating effect because you're not drinking a lot of fluid with it. But when you're drinking cups and cups of coffee with caffeine in it, you're drinking cups and cups of water along with it, and the amount that you end up peeing extra because of the caffeine is minimal. So you still have a net hydrating effect. Now, if you looked at the comparison between how hydrating coffee is versus how hydrating water is, you would probably see a net greater hydration effect from water as opposed to coffee because there's no caffeine in the water. But the question is, does something dehydrate you or not? Not which one hydrates you better. Obviously, water would hydrate you better than coffee.
Oh yeah.
But by the end of drinking coffee, our hypothesis is that coffee is still going to be hydrating you at a net hydration rather than, like, if you're out in the desert and you're only drinking coffee, you're still going to be getting hydrated from it. You're not all of a sudden going to get dehydrated just because you're drinking coffee.
For sure. So, like, do you get like a lot of people asking you, like, does it make you dehydrated? Is that why you're essentially making? Are you gonna make another documentary on it?
So we're not going to be as big of a documentary, right? Number one, because the Big Mac challenge was 30 days, and it was like literally documenting every single day, every single Big Mac. This one's obviously going to be 24, 48 hour period, so it's not going to be nearly as long. But we'll do other ones as well. I know, for example, there's always people who are saying it's not true, it's not accurate, whatever. So one of the ones that people want me to do is basically doing one with sugar, where it's like, because there is that crowd out there that says there's literally people in the world who say don't eat fruit because the sugar is going to make you fat.
Oh yeah, that's such bullshit.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a challenge, probably another 30-day challenge, early in 2020, in which basically I incorporate a massive amount of sugar in my diet and still eat in a calorie deficit and show people that you can still lose weight.
Yeah, I love that because me personally, like before my workouts, just to like restore like all that glycogen, get the glycogen levels up. I love eating fruit and stuff like that, and especially in the morning too. And I know a lot of people I feel like everybody eats fruit in the morning, and just knowing that would be huge because, like, going back to what we first started talking about, like eating the foods you want to eat, and I feel like that for sure would be very beneficial for a lot of people. So I can't wait to see that.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. So, getting all these people, I'm sure they're all talking smack on you, eating a Big Mac every single day. So how much backlash did you get really from this challenge?
I got less backlash than I anticipated. At the beginning, there was a fair amount, mainly because people didn't think it was going to be possible. People didn't actually think that I was going to be able to lose weight while having one Big Mac every day. And I want to clarify, I didn't only eat Big Macs, right? So like ate one Big Mac a day as part of my overall diet, right? So I had one Big Mac a day. It's only 540 calories. It's not that much. And then I would have salads, and I would have grilled chicken, and I literally documented every day on my Instagram story, and it's still in my highlights. But like my girlfriend would make quiche, or I would have like eggs. Like literally, I had a regular diet. I just made sure to keep track of how many calories I was eating. So I had one Big Mac every day in addition to whatever else I was eating. And at the beginning, there were a bunch of people who were like, there's no way this is going to work. This is so bad. Da, 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 da. But after about 2 weeks, when people saw that I was losing weight, they were freaking out.
They're like, oh, shit, this man might be right.
Easy. And then and there were a few people at about 2 weeks, a few coaches who were like, this is doing more harm than good. He's promoting and telling people to eat Big Macs, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I'm not, and I said this almost on a daily basis. I was like, I'm not telling you to eat Big Macs. I'm not saying Big Macs are healthy. I do not want anyone else to do this challenge. All I'm showing you is that you can include your favorite foods in moderation while still making progress. That's it. And I'm saying sometimes you have to do something extreme in order to make a simple point for people to understand.
Right. I personally, I think that, what you're doing is so beneficial for like people like myself, because I'm like not a healthy person by any means. I don't like work out a whole lot or nothing like that. So just hearing that alone of, exactly what you've done just to strictly stay within that calorie deficit, it's huge to me, because that makes it like, I see Jared, because Jared's like, doing it at such a high level where all I see him eating, is lettuce and grilled chicken. I'm like, dude, there's no way I could do that, because I'm extremely unhealthy. But just knowing and understanding like little bits of, just by being aware of that calorie intake and of staying within, what that should be, and you could still live a healthy lifestyle. Like for somebody who's not, completely indulged in fitness, like that to me is huge.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that a lot. It makes me wicked happy to hear.
Yeah.
All right, Jordan. So Thanksgiving, it was yesterday, and I know a lot of people, they ate a lot of food. So what advice could you give people that really just went all out, ate 10 times the amount of calories they normally eat? What advice would you give those people?
Hit the gym.
I mean, the biggest thing is just get back on track. That's really it. It's so funny. One of the most common questions that I get is, what do I do after I took a long time away from the gym? Or what do I do after, if I really screwed up my diet? And I'm always like, you fucking get back on track. What are you asking me for?
It's like throwing the towel. That's a wrap.
It's one of those things. It's so mind-boggling to me, because I mean, there are people who haven't worked out their entire lives. There are people who are hundreds of pounds overweight, people who have serious illnesses, who out of nowhere in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s start working out, start paying attention to their health, and they change their lives forever. Yeah. And they lose hundreds of pounds and they get healthy. And it's like, you took a couple months off and you're asking me, how the fuck do you get back on track? Like, you start again. You go through the fucking door. You make a change. You fucking go to the grocery store and pick better foods. Like, if you ate a lot on Thanksgiving, then you fucking get back on track after Thanksgiving. It's the same thing. It's people are, no one ever got fat between Thanksgiving and New Year's. People get fat between New Year's and the following Thanksgiving.
New Year's resolution.
Let's get back on track.
Yeah, I completely agree.
That's funny.
Just being able, for example, me, I probably ate like 7 plates yesterday, 7 plates of turkey, and I know and I understand that it's okay to enjoy the time with your family and eat those foods that your brother, your sister, your mom and dad made. Make them feel loved. Enjoy the time you guys have together. And the next day, the next weekend, next Monday, just get right back on track, like Jordan's saying. And it's as simple as that. Who gives a fuck if you ate, if you binged? Who gives a fuck? Because you can get back on track. That's that easy. It's that fucking easy. So, I know a lot of people, they have this mental block of when they binge or when they have a poor diet or even going to the gym. So what's like the process of overcoming that mental block of like saying people that are like afraid to go to the gym because they're like being judged?
It's a really common concern. People, they feel like they're being judged. They feel like, they're nervous to go because what other people are going to say and blah, blah, blah. And I'm always careful to say, listen, I would never tell anybody how to feel. And I would never say like how you feel is invalid. What I will say, though, is like when you're 90 years old and you're looking back on your life, when you're 90, are you going to look back and say, I'm really glad that I didn't go to the gym because I was worried that some asshole might judge me? Or will you look back and say, I'm really disappointed in myself that I didn't go to the gym because I was worried about what some asshole might have thought of me? And the answer is always, you would be disappointed in yourself that you wouldn't have gone despite what someone else might think. And it's all these people who are like, I don't give a fuck what people think. I don't give a fuck. I'll do what I want. I'm whatever. And it's the same person who won't go to the gym because they're scared of what people think. It's like, number one, no one gives a fuck what you're doing at the gym.
I know.
Nobody's judging you
At all.
No one cares. No one's looking at you. The reality is the gym is full of insecure people. It's why there are a lot of people there. A lot of them are insecure, and they're trying to fix their insecurity by changing how they look, and nothing's wrong with that. But the gym is full of, and you could argue that the world is full of insecure people. Like everybody's insecure in some way, shape, or form. And the reality is most people in the gym are so insecure, they're only focused on themselves, and they think that everyone is looking at them. When you walk in, no one cares, no one notices you, no one is doing. And even if they do care, even if they are looking at you, are you going to care more that you didn't go because you were worried about what someone would say? Or would you say, wow, I'm proud that I went because I was worried, but I didn't give a fuck and I kept going and I worked through it and I still achieved my goals regardless? It's like the answer is always you're more proud of yourself when you work through those uncomfortable moments. And if you want to talk to your children and talk to your kids, talk to your friends, if your friend told you that they were too scared to go to the gym because of what other people might think, what would you tell your friend? You're right, don't go. Fuck that. You don't want to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. You never grow from uncomfortable situations. You might as well just stay at home. God forbid you fucking go and push through an uncomfortable situation once in your life. It's like, go to the gym. It doesn't fucking matter. Just keep pushing. It's like, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Why would you care so much about what other people think that you're preventing yourself from having better health?
Right. While we're on this subject, what do you suggest for somebody who's never eaten healthy and is looking to slowly start transitioning into a more healthy diet? What kind of foods do you suggest?
The first thing is, honestly, it's mainly tracking your calories. And before I say eat more of this food, eat more of that food, because the reality is we have an obesity epidemic, right? It's like people are eating too many calories. And so usually when people just don't know how much they're eating. And so for me, I'm always like, before you change anything, before you start, because mostly people are like, all right, you got to take this food out, you got to take out carbs, you got to take out sugar, you got to take out this. I would rather you add in more stuff. I'd rather you obviously add in more fruits, add in more vegetables, add in more lean proteins. But usually what'll happen is people don't realize how many calories they're eating, and they think they do, but until you actually count meticulously, you have no idea. So I usually give people a challenge for 30 days. Count all your calories, and just from doing that, people are shocked at how many they're actually eating. They're like, holy shit, I did not realize I was eating that many. And from there, then they on their own, they start to choose, okay, you know what, I'll have a salad every day for lunch. And it's like, or I'll start to incorporate more fruits and vegetables because they know they're eating too many calories. Whereas if I was just to say, eat more of this, eat more of that, or take this out, take that out, just human psychology, they'll say, fuck you, I'll do what I want. Right. So for me, I'd rather set them up with the opportunity to find out what they're eating and how much they're eating on their own, so then they can make that decision.
Right.
Yeah, I completely agree. I kind of do this with my clients as well. Like, I'll start them off with the first thing I want you to do. Like, if you're truly committed, like track your meals, track your calories for 3 to 5 days. And once you can get that down, then we can move to the next step, kind of. And then after that step happens, then we can start looking at their protein intake. How much protein are they getting? And once, like I said, once I get that down, keep moving forward into the healthy fats, into the more expanded diet of what I want you to eat and things like that. And then not only that, basically I just try to create little tiny goals with my clients, and once they achieve those goals, we can move to the next goal, like getting 8 hours of sleep, 7 to 8 hours of sleep, drinking the right amount of water. And once you can accomplish those things and move forward, you can slowly start to incorporate that into being a habit, in a sense.
Is sleep huge into maintaining a more athletic body? Like if you wanted to be an athlete, how big is sleep weigh on that? Because I hear so many people talking about it's such a necessity to get 8 hours sleep. Is that only at a physical performance level, or do you think that weighs in on everything?
Yeah, I mean, sleep is massively important for a number of different reasons. If we're talking about from a fat loss perspective, the most important thing is a calorie deficit, for sure. But a lot of people, when they hear that, they're like, oh, so sleep doesn't matter. It's like, well, no, of course sleep matters, because if you're not sleeping enough, then odds are you're going to be up late. And what are people doing when they're up late?
Eating.
They're not snacking on carrots.
Eating Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah, they're ordering like cupcakes or cookies or Sour Patch Kids or eating pizza or whatever. It's like, and then what happens? Then like when they're up too late or they're not sleeping enough, then they're too tired to go to the gym. They're too tired to go to the gym. They're not working out. And then when they feel like shit because they're not working out, they feel like they're already screwed up, so then they eat like shit. It's this bad cycle, right? So it's not necessarily that the sleep is preventing them. I mean, there are people who are insomniacs who barely get any sleep who are skinny as shit. Right. But that's because they oftentimes they have disordered eating habits, and it's not because of a lack of sleep. It's because they have something else going on. So sleep isn't preventing anybody from losing weight or a lack of sleep. It's more that what they're doing when they're not sleeping, and then what habits then perpetuate as a result of that. Right. But from a performance perspective, from like a strength perspective, from an athletic perspective, sleep is outrageously important. You know, it's one of those things where for fat loss, calorie deficit, and protein, I'd say those are the two most important things. For performance, then you have hydration levels, you have sleep, you have your macronutrient composition, you have so many other factors that come into it. And so hydration and sleep are two things that massively impact your performance, but they very much go overlooked. So yeah, I would say if you're not sleeping enough, at the very least, you're setting yourself up for bad habits, which will then make it harder to achieve your goals
later down the road. For sure. So I know how you always preach caloric deficit over and over on your Q&As. So could you give like a brief summary on like what a caloric deficit is for all those people out there just listening to this podcast? Like, what the fuck are they saying when they talk about caloric deficit?
Yeah, basically it's in order to lose weight, you have to eat fewer calories than your body burns on a daily basis. And that's a calorie deficit. So if you want to lose weight, you have to be in a calorie deficit. If you want to gain weight, be in a calorie surplus. And if you want to stay the same calorie, you eat calorie maintenance. Now, there are a lot of questions that come with this. Like, do you have to eat in a calorie deficit every day? It's like, no, you don't. Mm-hmm. So for example, like one of the things I do is I like to do like quote unquote calorie cycling, right? Or alternating calories. So for example, you could be in a calorie deficit 4 days a week, and then in a calorie maintenance 3 days a week. And then at the end of the week, you're still in a net calorie deficit. So you're still losing fat by the end of the week. It's more of a slower approach. It's more sustainable. It's not something that you're going to be losing rapidly with, but it is something where, like, let's say, for example, during the weekends, you tend to eat more food. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you want to have more calories. So you could have higher calorie days on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And then lower on the other days.
Yeah, and then during the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you eat fewer calories, so you're in a calorie deficit. And that way, over time, you can, number one, have a more sustainable approach, but also lose fat more slowly as well.
So would you recommend, like, okay, let's say you find the amount of calories you need to be in a deficit. Would it be smart to multiply that by 7 and then just see how, like, by the end of the week, like, this is the amount of calories you need? Yeah, or would you say daily would be better?
So both approaches work very well. Generally speaking, I actually really like the multiplying by 7, and I have a whole YouTube video on that. It's like calorie cycling for fat loss. Basically, like, you have the total amount of calories you'd need for that week, and then you can split it up however you want day to day. The one thing that people ask about that is like, well, what happens if I go over on one of those days? Should I make up for it the following day? If the one reason I'm always hesitant to say, yeah, you can make up for it the following day is because then that becomes a habit.
Yeah, and then they'll start restricting.
Right. It's one day, it's like, so you know what? I just won't eat at all the next day. It's like, it's a really bad habit to get into. Usually my response is just get back on track. Don't try and change anything. Just keep doing what you're doing. But technically, yeah, you could quote unquote make up for it.
Yeah, because when you make it that times 7 or whatever, and you're looking for at it by the week, that really just suggests alone that you can just, put something off. Like you said, that is 100% going to set you on a bad habit. To me, that's I don't know. I feel like if you're really trying to actively lose weight, you have to do it on a day-to-day basis. If you were to take it by the week, like, there's just too many possibilities in trying to play catch up.
Well, and that's where my whole thing that I always say, you can't fuck this up, is so important, right? Where it's like, if you get in the mindset that, oh, you can always make up for it, you can always make up for it, you can always make up for it, that's a very dangerous road to go down from the perspective of, okay, I'm not going to eat the following day, or I won't eat for 2 days, or whatever it is. It's like, no, that's not how it works. Not to mention, let's say you overeat your calories by like 2,000 one day. It's like, it's not all going to fat storage. Like, our bodies are not solely made for fat gain and fat loss. We have so many other physiological processes going on that like our bodies are not solely taking those extra calories and putting them to fat, right?
Yeah.
It's outrageous to think that.
Yeah.
So like, it's a very flawed idea to go with. But that being said, I do know that some people do very well with the day-to-day, just like focusing the calories on the day-to-day basis, and other people do much better with a more weekly basis. I will say the people who tend to be more type A need it more on a day-to-day.
Yeah.
The people who are more type, like not like type B or whatever, like where they're more relaxed with it,
Yeah.
they do okay with the weekly basis because they're not as strict. They're not as freaking out if like, oh my God, I went over on one day. What do I do? It's like they're more able to go with the flow and relax with it.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody's different and everybody's mindset's different because, like you said, type A, the day-to-day people, they could literally step on the scale and it'll be like, oh shit, I gained 3 pounds from yesterday. And they think it's 3 pounds of fat when that's like almost impossible unless you fucking were literally eating all day, chips nonstop all day. I still don't even think it's possible.
No, I really don't. It's physiologically impossible to gain that much fat in a day.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't do that. Your body will not allow that to happen.
Yeah, and that's what people need to understand. That kind of leads me into what I wanted to ask you next. How do people say that scale? Let's just talk about the scale. When people one day they weigh 5 pounds less than the next day, and then the day after that, vice versa. So how do you feel about the scale? I know you're very passionate about the scale. So could you let them know what they should be doing when they step on that scale?
Yeah, I mean, I always like to think of the scale as just data, right? That's all it is. The scale is just it's more data telling you what's going on. But the reality is like the scale. If you drink a 16-ounce glass of water, and then you step on the scale, and then you drink 16 ounces of water, then you step on the scale again, you're going to weigh a pound heavier.
Right.
Right? It's like that's 16 ounces. That's a pound. So there's so many factors that go into how much you weigh. It's like how your hydration levels are going to impact it. What you just ate is going to impact it. If you ate more salt, a lot of times people are going to think that they gain fat because they had salty foods. It's like, no, salt just makes you hold on to more water. Same thing with carbs. So for me, when I'm looking at weight trends over time, you don't want to try and lose weight day to day, because that's a losing battle. You will lose that battle. If you lost 1 pound a week every week for a year, you'd lose 52 pounds. For 2 years, it's 104 pounds. A lot of people don't have that much to lose. It's like if you're trying to lose 10, 15, 20 pounds and you're getting pissed off because the scale isn't going down every day, you're setting yourself up for failure. So for me, what I do is I look at the trend month to month. So I look at like June 1st to July 1st, July 1st to August 1st, August 1st, September 1st, June 2nd to July 2nd, July 2nd to August 2nd, August 2nd to September 2nd. And you look at the trend month to month, which means the first 30, 31 days of your weigh-ins mean absolutely nothing. It's just data collection. You're collecting data for that first month so you can see where the trend falls. This is super important for women because their menstrual cycle is going to fuck with the scale even more. So then you can like look at the trend. Okay, so I know every month on this day, this is where I was the last month. This is where I was 2 months before. And you can see if the trend is going down or not. If you're looking at it day to day or week to week or even every 2 weeks, you're setting yourself up for failure. Yeah,
I completely agree because so many things play a factor in your scale. Like you said, menstrual cycles, your piss, taking a piss in the morning, like you said, it can literally make you lose a pound. And letting that affect your mind can later lead into more like terrible things down the road. And just understanding that you're not going to gain 3 pounds of fat, 2 pounds of fat in a single day, that it might just be your sodium intake holding on to all that water, then I feel like you just need to understand that so you can basically get your mind right for the next day to keep you on track to losing weight and make you stay focused on your goals.
Yeah, 100%.
I also forgot to ask you what we were talking about when it came to calories. How can a person know how many calories they should eat? How can a normal person, average person that wants to get started into fitness, doesn't know anything about it, what can they do? Like, how many calories should that person eat? Like, how do they track that?
It's all basic body
It's a
weight.
really good question. So, and that question alone would take a long time to answer. So, what I would do is, if you want, I have a YouTube video that literally explains it step by step. It's like my calorie calculator. So, if you go to my YouTube channel, which is just Jordan, Jordan Syatt, Jordan Syatt, and then search for how many calories should you eat for fat loss, it explains it step by step on an individual basis.
We'll have to put that in the link for sure.
Yeah, we'll put that in the link for sure. So I know you're a trainer. What are some of the biggest mistakes that you see your clients make that are holding them back from their results that they want?
You know, it's funny. It's like we already mainly covered the biggest ones. The biggest ones tend to be thinking that people are judging them, right? So what happens is, the biggest mistakes tend to be things that like we all know not to do and we would never encourage a friend to do, but we do ourselves, right? So it's like not going to the gym out of fear of thinking someone's judging you, or like not getting back on track because you think you already screwed up. So it's like, well, how do I get back on track? You get back on fucking track. Like you start again. Yeah. It's like these are all the biggest things that people do, which essentially is another way of saying they aren't taking action. Right? They're not doing what they need to do. And so one of my favorite sayings, the ones that like gets a really big response out of people, is people like, what's your best nutrition advice? I'm always like, don't eat like an asshole. Oh, yeah. It's like, because everybody knows what that means. Like everybody knows that like having Sour Patch Kids is eating like an asshole. Everybody knows that like eating a bunch of pizza is eating like an asshole. Everybody knows that having more fruits and vegetables and lean proteins and drinking water is not eating like an asshole. So for me, one of my favorite sayings is don't eat like an asshole, but when you do eat like an asshole, don't be an asshole to yourself. So don't shame yourself or guilt yourself or think you're fucked up because you didn't from having that one quote unquote bad meal. Just get back on track. So I think the biggest mistakes that people make are are just not taking action. And that could be not taking action and getting back on track. It could be not taking action and getting to the gym, not taking action on just going on a walk every day. If like that's all you can do. Yeah. Like it's literally just doing something. Just get the fuck up and do something. Yeah. It's the biggest mistake because the reality is another really common question is, how do I get motivated?
I was just about to ask you that.
Motivated. How do I get motivated? It's like, if you're sitting around and like asking on my fucking Instagram Q&A how to get motivated, like you're looking in the wrong place. Like the only way to get motivated is to do something that it's to do something that you want to do, but you don't want to do it. Right? It's like to do something that you know you should do something that you know you actually want to do, but it's really, really hard for you to do. So it's like if someone wants to go to the gym, but they're more comfortable in bed, it's like, I guarantee you every single person in the world is more comfortable in their bed than at the gym. Like every single person would rather stay in bed for an extra 90 minutes than go to the gym. It's way more comfortable. But the only way you're going to get motivated is to get the fuck up and do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, trying to stay motivated is like almost impossible. Being motivated is just like a state of mind. If you like, how can you recreate that day-to-day basis? It's more of a desire. Like you just got to want to do something.
That's literally it. And for me, it's so interesting. Like one of the things I realized, and I mentioned it earlier, a lot of times people are talking about being present in the moment, be present. And I think being present has its time and it has its place. But I also think that if you're really thinking about what motivation stems from, it's usually from thinking about wanting something in the future, wanting some type of a future goal, wanting to achieve something in the future. And the desire for that future goal is much greater than how comfortable you are in the moment. And that's really what a lot of times what momentary motivation will come from. So that's why I always ask, what decision are you going to be more proud of at the end of the day? When you're going back to bed later that day, are you going to be more proud that you got up and worked out, or are you going to be more proud that you stayed in bed and didn't? And the answer might be that you were more proud that you stayed in bed, in which case, like, because maybe you like exercise too much, or maybe you get anxiety if you don't work out. And so you wanted to be able to, you know what, I'm going to take a rest day. And for you, that might be really good. But for someone who hasn't worked out in 4 years, like, you're going to be more proud of yourself if you got the fuck up and went on a 30-minute walk than if you didn't.
And to stay motivated, they have to want it at the end of the day. And if you nobody else can give you motivation to do something. They can help you, but nobody can say, do this, unless they're physically dragging you out of the bed and putting you there. And even then, I feel like that's going to just make you not even want to do it.
100%. That's exactly right.
So that makes me want to ask you about Gary V. So I know you trained him, and you trained him for 3 years, I'm pretty sure. And I know he's a super busy person, and I know a lot of busy people, they are the ones that really make the excuse like, oh, I don't have time, I can't do this. So what advice, knowing that you trained Gary V, this busy man, busy as hell, I'm sure, what advice would you give him to, like, specifically with working out and dieting when you don't have time at all? Well, quote unquote, don't have time at all.
Man, I mean, it's so funny. Like, I worked with Gary for 3 years, 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's one of those things where I've worked with thousands of people. And Gary is without question one of the busier people that I've ever met. He's one of the busiest people in the world. But the people that really, really, really fucking inspire me, the people that really showed me that nobody is too busy, are like the single moms working 2 or 3 jobs that I worked with, who like scraped up the money to have me coach them, who like are taking their kids to practices, who are waking up at 4 a.m. to get their workouts in. Like, no joke, I've worked with single moms and some fathers as well, who like did everything they could to not only make sure that they had me there as their coach to pay for it, but then to make sure that they got their workouts in, that there was no excuse. They fucking got it in. They got it done. Like, whether it was 2 or 3 or 4 days a week, whatever it was, they made sure they did it. There was no excuse. I remember one of the guys that I worked with, he was a single father. Like, he worked 2 full-time jobs, and then a couple nights a week, he would work part-time as a janitor just to like make enough money for coaching. And like, it was crazy. Like, and no matter what, he would never miss a workout. It's like,
that's the best client to have.
that's it, man. And like it's hard. It's one of my, I hate the saying. I hate it when people say, well, yeah, but it's easier said than done. I'm like, yeah, everything is easier said than done. Like, what is that? You're exactly right. Literally everything is easier said than done. But what the fuck is the point of saying that? It's like, are you using that to justify not doing it? Because if you are, that's fine. I don't care if you do it or not. You're the one that it's going to impact, not me. It's like, the reality is we're all super busy, some of us more than others. But if this is something that's important to you, then you're going to make it happen no matter what, no matter how uncomfortable it makes you.